What's up, guys? Today I'm going to start doing a mock draft just for the NFL that's coming up. And looking at what we start off with, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I just think that it is insane if they do anything else other than a tackle. But I don't know. I was watching the combine, and I'm stuck between these two. I'm going to just go Ikemakwanu. Why not? Because it's fun, and it'll be cool. Now, moving on, we got the Lions. I like the way that Dan Campbell's running the system that he had. He set it up pretty well and had the trenches last year. And, for an overall bad football team, he did pretty good. But I'm stuck between Kayvon Thibodeaux and Aiden Hutchinson because I definitely want to do the trenches, just like I'm thinking in real life. And just so that way we know that there's not going to be any additional trades or anything. And they both tested really well. Here, I'll just move down to edge. I'm not sure because both of them tested really well, but I think I'm going to give them Aiden Hutchinson just from Michigan. Dude was an absolute monster. Hurt my Buckeyes a couple of times. And for the Texans, I don't know what's going to happen with them. They have the Deshaun Watson thing that just happened today where he's not being faced on criminal charges, so he's probably going to be traded pretty soon. I think that the best thing for them would probably be tackle. I like how PFF puts their needs at every position. That's kind of funny to me. I don't think that they really need every position. I think that Brandon Cooks, even though he's getting old, he was a good gem for them, and I think that watching Davis Mills was a pleasant surprise, especially in the last few games that he played in. I think that it was good. And I'm debating. I want to go tackle, so I just want to put that there. I think I'm gonna pick. I think I'm gonna do Charles Cross over Evan Neal. Charles Cross, monster of a man, insanely tall, big, everything. Now we move on to the Jets, and the question here is, what do we do for the Jets? The Jets, they need some help, and while I'm thinking wide receiver as their top need is a good need, I don't think that the Jets take a wide receiver, because looking at who the top wide receivers are right now, having Drake London over Garrett Wilson, I think is, I'm biased, but I just think that that's insane. But I don't think that either of these two guys, as much as I love Garrett Wilson and I love Chris Olave, I don't think that either one of them are better, or not better, good enough to go into the top. So I think I'm gonna look at tackle. I could also see them taking Kyle Hamilton though. I'm not really sure where to go, so I'm just going to give him Kyle Hamilton. It's a nice pick, and I think it'll work out well. Now, the Giants, on the other hand, this one could be rough. What do you do here? You have Kayvon Thibodeaux, who's ranked at 4. He's there. You have Derek Stingley Jr., who, other than his freshman year, looked pretty mid overall. You could get another tackle. They could and move him over to guard. But I think that the best bet, especially because he's here, I think it's going to be Kayvon Thibodeaux for the Giants. I think that's just a really good deal overall. And I think it would just work out really well. Now, this is going to be the first team that I think is going to go for a quarterback. If I'm being honest, I think that Matt Rule is on the hot seat, and no matter what happens here, he's probably going to go or be fired if he doesn't do very well. The same with the GM. I'm not entirely sure here, but you know what? I'm gonna make it pretty. I'm gonna go. I don't think Sam Howell's better than Malik Willis, but I think they're gonna make a jump for Malik Willis, and that's what I'm gonna go with for the Panthers. Now, I gave the Giants earlier Kayvon Thibodeaux, as you can see right here, so that covers edge. And I don't see Derek Stingley Jr. going here. But let's see. I can't remember what guards. Tyler Linderbaum is here, but I don't think he's going to be good enough for there to go that high. Let's see, only tackles. I don't know. This is just really weird for me. Strange, but and I don't. They're definitely not going to take another edge or wide receiver. I don't see either of those happening. But you know what would be really nice would be Devin Lloyd. It's a reach, but Devin Lloyd's a monster. Dude is nasty. And you know what? I'm kind of liking it. So I think they're gonna make a jump here for the Giants. And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna give him Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd. Now this is where things get really interesting. The Falcons, I think, are gonna go with receiver here. So I'm just gonna put that right away. And I think that they're going to do this because Calvin Ridley's out for the year with the suspension, which I feel like is going to get appealed and overturned anyways. I don't see that lasting very long. Dude bid on one game. I think it was what it was, and he only bet like 1,500 and he wasn't even playing. I just think that's insane. So the question is, do we go Drake London or Garrett Wilson here? I think I'm going to do Garrett Wilson. I think he is an absolute monster of an athlete, and that's not even just me saying that because I'm an Ohio State fan. I just think he's absolutely insane. His combine was pretty well overall, and I could see it, and it'll work out really well. So Garrett Wilson, welcome to the Falcons. Now Seahawks on the other hand, they just traded Russell Wilson to the Broncos, so they're going to get the 9th pick. I don't see them taking a quarterback here. This quarterback class is overall not very well from what everyone's saying, and I mean, I personally disagree, but I don't see them taking a quarterback. I don't see them taking an offensive lineman either, but I do see them making a jump and reaching for a player. The Seahawks are not very good at drafting. Their history has not been very good. Look at their last 4 years. They have Jordan Brooks, who's meh. Couple offensive tackles who are meh. So for that, I'm going to give them Sauce Gardner. Dude was a freak at Cincinnati. I loved watching him play. I just think that overall it's going to be the best bet. Let's scroll on back up to the Jets. I gave them Kyle Hamilton at 4. And now the question is, what do we do here? They just really need help in the back end. I'm not really sure where to go here because I'm super mixed. Since Evan Neal is available at 10, you just got to think that they're gonna take Evan Neal to protect Zach Wilson. Who had a rough rookie year, but that's mainly because he didn't have like the line to help him out. And you know what? For that, I think I'm gonna give them Evan Neal. It's just the way that the ball or that it fell. Now I could definitely see Evan Neal being moved up and maybe be taken by the Giants or the Panthers, but I just think that they have more pressing needs. Now the Washington Commanders. Now this team I do not see taking a quarterback. They just traded for Carson Wentz. There's no way that they're gonna do it. But linebacker and safety, I'm not sure who they would take. You know what? I'm going to give them Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie was nasty at his time at UW. He was an absolute monster. I just love watching him play. It's super good, super nice ball hawking skills. I'm excited to watch him play. Coming into 12, we have the Vikings. They need a lot of positions. They need QB, guard, center, edge, and cornerback. And you know what? I think that giving them George Karlaftis would be good. Guy was really good at Purdue. He was insane. Watching him go off the edge is just super sick, and I for that I got to give him George Karlaftis. He's available at 12. I could see this team making a reach up. I don't see them doing anything but working with Kirk for another couple years. I mean, he is getting old, but why not? Moving down to 13, they need the PFF says that the Browns need wide receiver and defensive lineman. So I'm gonna definitely give them a wide receiver. OBJ didn't really work out. And you know what? I might as well give them Drake London. It's the best player available for the wide receiver class, and he's insanely tall and really fast from watching him at the combine. And then we move on down to the Ravens. The Ravens have all kinds of issues, I think. I think the only ones that they don't have are, well, quarterback, one. I think running back, when everyone gets healthy again, will be fine. For that reason, I don't know. I think that their offensive line could use some work too. Alejandro Villanueva just retired. Cornerback could use some help. You know what? I'll give them Derek Stingley. Why not? It's just the way he fell. I think that if they get Derek Stingley from his freshman year, they'll be in luck and they'll have like insanely good corner. If they get him for the last 2 years, I don't think that they'll be doing very well. Coming into back-to-back picks from the Eagles, starting at 15, they have their top needs according to PFF are edge, linebacker, and defensive back. And you know what? I think edge is a perfect good need, and Trayvon Walker's there. Just gonna give it to him right away. Guy is insane. He did really good at Georgia. Most of that Georgia defense was just awesome. That's what sent them in. And then you have the Eagles at 16. Now the question is, what do you do here? Here's Nakobe Dean. He's up there. You could get some offensive linemen. You could get a defensive lineman. You could go wide receiver. And I don't know. I think I'm going to give him Nakobe Dean. Dude has potential to be one of the best linebackers as a rookie in the league, and he is awesome. And I think it's totally worth it to just give him Nakobe Dean. Coming in at 17, you have the Chargers. I don't think their top need is wide receiver. They just locked up Mike Williams. There's no need. They just traded for Khalil Mack. So they have a 1-2 punch at linebacker with Joey Bosa and now Khalil Mack. So I don't think wide receiver. I don't think linebacker. Cornerback, I could see a little bit, but I don't think that there's anyone who would be... Ooh, Andrew Booth Jr., actually. I didn't realize he was here. That would be pretty cool. Kaiir Elam would also be pretty good. But I don't think that they're going to reach for a corner. I don't think they're going to reach for a linebacker or a wide receiver. I don't think they're going to do a center. But I could see them going edge here. And you know what? I'm going to give him David Ojabo, because I think David Ojabo was a monster at Michigan. The entire Michigan defensive line was really good. Now the question is, moving into 18, is what do the Saints do? I don't think they take a quarterback here, so that's out of the question. I do think wide receiver, but I don't know if I should give them Jameson Williams, who's apparently killing it at healing himself from that torn ACL he had, and Chris Olave. I think they're both absolute beast of receivers. And while I do think that the Saints love their Ohio State receivers, look at Michael Thomas, for example. They traded up to grab him, which was pretty smart. Some people don't think it was that smart, but I think it was pretty smart. But I think I'm going to give them Jameson Williams from Alabama. Guy was an absolute monster in his time at Alabama. He's a transfer from Ohio State. So for that, I think it's a given. It's got to be Jameson Williams. Now, coming back to their third first-round pick, you have the Eagles. Now, if we were doing trades here, I could definitely see them trading out of here. But I don't think, or because I'm not doing trades, I'm not going to do that. And just a review from theirs, I did Nakobe Dean at linebacker and Trayvon Walker, 3 picks earlier, 3 and 4 picks earlier, respectively. So I'm not going to go edge or defensive lineman. I'm actually going to go corner here, I think. So, and for that, I'm going to give them Andrew Booth Jr. Guy that was insanely good at Clemson. He was super fun to watch. I liked his play. I just think that he'll fit well. Now, the question is here for the Steelers, what do we give them? Do we give them Bahard Raymond, who would be the smart pick, but also, who do you start at quarterback? Because I don't think Mason's going to be a starter. I don't think Dwayne Haskins is going to be a starter. I don't think that they're going to make a trade for Deshaun Watson or any of that. I don't see any of this happening. I see them drafting a quarterback here, but honestly, I see them waiting to draft until the second round for a quarterback and see who follows, because you got Desmond Ridder, let's just see who we got here. You got Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, Carson Strong. I think that these guys, everyone but Carson Strong, I don't really like Carson Strong. I prefer the more mobile quarterbacks, and I don't think that Carson Strong's a good quarterback. He's way too slow. His arm just is there, but I just don't think he's good enough to be picked at 20. So I don't think I'm not going to do cornerback, but I'm going to give him Bernhard Raimann. Guy is an absolute monster of a tackle, and I like watching him. I just think that it's going to be the best option for them. That offensive line was awful last year, and Najee Harris still managed to pop off. And I just think that if you give them a tackle and get a better offensive line coach, that you'll have an offensive line of the future. That'll be good, especially for someone who's young. Coming in at 21, we have the Pats, and this is gonna be a no-brainer. He's available here, so I'm gonna give him Chris Olave. Guy is insanely fast. I think giving them Chris Olave will make that offense so much better. And I just feel like since he's there, you got to take him. You can't just leave him. Coming into the Raiders, you have wide receiver, which I could kind of see, linebacker, cornerback, defensive lineman. And I actually am going to give them Jordan Davis. This dude should not be able to run as fast or move as quickly as he does. He zooms. I think that this is the only option. If he's here, you have to take him. Guy is insane. And bump up that defense. Moving in to 23, you have the Cardinals. There's so many things here that the Cardinals need, but I'm going to go to cornerback, I think, especially with everyone getting getting older and they need some additional help there. And for that, I'm going to go Kaiir Elam. Kaiir Elam was a monster at Florida. And, even though there's this COVID year, this was still awesome. Like, for the amount of stuff that or amount of people that there are available. There might not be like a deep quarterback class, but it's just looks wonderful for everything else. Moving in, you got the Cowboys at 24. I could see them going for Devontae Wyatt, but I think you got to address that offensive line more than the defensive line. And I'm going to give him Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning, monster offensive lineman, pretty good. I think it'll be the best option for them. And then moving on, you have the Bills at 25. The Bills did very good this year. Josh Allen, as always, is an absolute monster of a quarterback. And I think I'm going to give him Treylon Burks. Super fast. I just feel like that's the way to go for them. Yeah, I'm going to give him Treylon Burks. They could always use wide receivers. Emmanuel Sanders is getting older. I don't even know who you have on their team after Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs, other than Emmanuel Sanders. Like, I don't know off the top of my head right now, thinking about it. Now moving on to onto the Titans at 26, I'm gonna give them Tyler Linderbaum. I think that if you fix their offensive line, then a lot of their issues won't be there or be as potent anymore. Plus, a good offensive line will always allow for Derrick Henry to just zoom. I just think that that's the way to go for them. Moving down to 27, you got the Buccaneers. It's got to be Zion Johnson, I think. Their defensive line is amazing. Yes, Vita Vea is getting really old. Their cornerbacks are getting old too, but I just think that Zion Johnson, since he's here, you have to do it. Their offensive line wasn't the best last year, but I just could see it happening. Moving on to 28, I think this is going to be the first time in forever that we see the Packers go wide receiver for their first round pick. I don't know if they actually go wide receiver because they have an issue at wide receiver. They have like 3 that are going to be on the roster because they just tagged Devontae Adams. So I don't think that they're going to like not take him. And I just think George Pickens would be a great pick, but also Justin Ross would be a good pick too. Guy is super quick, but I think George Pickens is going to be a better pick. Jumps off the edge, goes really quickly. I think that's going to be the move. 29, you have the Dolphins. They need a wide receiver. I'll look back. Let's take a look and see who we have left. Jahan Dotson is available. Sky Moore. I don't really know much about Sky Moore, but I think Jahan Dotson would be a good pick for them. He's ranked at 46, which, I mean, that's fair, but I think he should be a little bit higher. But yeah, I could see Jahan Dotson being picked by the Dolphins. Let's see who's available in the offensive line. Kenyon Green. Oh, that would be a good pick. Yeah, you know what? No, let's give him Kenyon Green. I think Kenyon Green to the Dolphins would be really good. Good pick from or good player from Texas A&M. I think it would just be good overall. Moving on to the Chiefs at 30. You have wide receiver, defensive lineman, and corner as PFF saying their top needs. I don't really know how to feel about that because you have Tyreek Hill, but who knows what's going to happen with that? You have Travis Kelce, but once again, who knows what's going to happen with that? I don't think a wide receiver is their biggest need. I don't. Offensive line maybe, or defensive line maybe. And you know what? Yeah, Devontae Wyatt's here, so I think that'll be a good pick. Now this one, everyone knows exactly where I'm going. This is what costed them a Super Bowl ring that nobody expected them to go for. Or nobody expected them to get to and any of that. So I think they're going to take the best tackle or offensive lineman available. And in this case, it's going to be Abraham Lucas. I don't think that that's actually who they're going to take, but it's just how the board fell. So I might as well give it to him. And then you have the Lions. They need a lot of help. The question is, though, do I give them... Because the Lions earlier, I gave Aiden Hutchinson. So do we give them a corner or a quarterback, or do we keep building in the trenches? We have Jared Goff starting for them. I don't think he's going to be staying very well or staying for very long. I don't think he's the answer for them. It's just a bad football team overall. Literally any position here, other than I think tight end, could be a good move for them. And you know what? I might as well give it to him. I'm going to give him Sam Howell. And yeah, I just think that it's the best move to go for them. So just to re-clarify the picks, yeah, number 1 overall, you got Ike Ekwonu. Number 2, the Lions, you got Aiden Hutchinson. Number 3, you got Charles Cross, which I think would be an absolute steal. At 4, you got Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame, who I think is going to be a win or a lose. Like, it's high risk, high reward, low risk, low reward, you know. 5, you got Kayvon Thibodeau. At 6, you got Malik Willis, who I don't think starts right away. But I think that this is the last year that you see these coaches in if they don't succeed. You have Devin Lloyd at 7 to the Giants. The Falcons got Garrett Wilson. You got Sauce Gardner going to Cincinnati. Evan Neal falling at 10 just feels like a crime, but I think you could probably switch Evan Neal and Charles Cross. I just feel like that either way it'll work, and knowing how these organizations work, that'll probably be what happens. You got Trent McDuffie to Washington, especially now that they don't have, or that they have a quarterback in Carson Wentz. I don't see them needing or going for a quarterback this year. They don't really need a wide receiver. They have Scary Terry. George Karlaftis, I think, will work out perfectly. Drake London, I think, would be a good pick. Derek Stingley Jr., I think that it's a very risky move, but it could work or it can't. You have Trayvon Walker and Nakobe Dean, who will form a wonderful punch at defense. And then at 17, you have David Ajabo, who I think would just be perfect for the Chargers. It'd be a very good fit. Jameson Williams, if he heals properly, that'll be a good pick. If not, it's a bad pick. Andrew Booth Jr., just to improve that secondary. And then you have Burhan Raymond and Chris Olave. I think they would fit pretty well. Jordan Davis, I think whatever team gets him is going to be very happy with what they get. Guy is an absolute beast and should not be moving this quickly, but there he is. Kaiir Elam would be a good pick. I think if the Cowboys fix their offensive line, then they'll have some issues fixed, and now it's just a matter of everything else. You have Treylon Burks to Buffalo. That'll be a good pick. Tyler Linderbaum, I think, is an amazing center, and it'll be really good. fit, and, you know, who knows, maybe Ryan Tannehill will end up fixing his issues here. Zion Johnson, I think, is the way to go. You got to fix that offensive line on the Buccaneers. George Pickens, Packers have to pick wide receivers this year. I don't know how many they'll be getting, but they have to pick some. Kenyon Green to the Dolphins is a good pick, I think. Got to fix that offensive line. Devontae Wyatt would be awesome. Abraham Lucas, I don't actually see this pick being the one that happens. They just take the best offensive lineman available, who in this case was Abraham Lucas. And then finally the Lions end with Sam Howell, which I think he's either going to do really well in the NFL or he's going to do pretty poorly. I'm not 100% certain yet, but just the way that he fits, or the scheme that he fits in at North Carolina, it's gonna be an adjustment. But that's about all I got for you guys.